Democrats are taking a hard left turn. I'm John Phillips, and this is Pole Position. According to the latest poll numbers from Pew Research, the Democratic Party is undergoing a major shift. Back in 2000, 27% of Democrats identified themselves as liberal Democrats, 43% as moderate Democrats, and 24% as conservative Democrats. But if you ask that same question today, you get a very different answer. A majority, 41%, now identify as liberals, 35% as moderates, and 21% as conservatives. Looking at a graph, you can see that the moderates outnumbered either group as recently as a few years ago, but liberalism is making a major comeback. Why is this happening, and what does it mean for the 2016 presidential contest? We'll get to that in a minute. Other questions on the poll reveal that President Obama, in spite of delivering so few of his campaign promises, is the gold standard for most Democratic voters, with 61% saying they'd be more likely to support a presidential candidate in 2016 that continues his plans and programs, and only 12% saying that's a turnoff. Most Democrats, 60%, also say they want a candidate who will compromise with Republicans, while only 14% want a candidate who sticks to his or her guns. This may seem odd at first, given how divided our political process is, but looking back at Obama's tenure, he managed to get the Republicans to compromise on most of his signature issues without giving up much or really anything at all. This may explain why compromise is viewed with more suspicion by the GOP than by the Democrats. When you look at all of these numbers in totality, it's not surprising to me at all that the Democrats are taking a hard turn to the left. This country has experienced an explosion of immigration since the 1980s. As of last night, I was watching the Democratic primary, the debate in Las Vegas, and it was announced that half of the Democratic Party is now non-white. A large portion of these voters came through the immigration process from other countries that are much farther to the left than the United States, and they bring their politics with them. That's what we learn from political socialization. You don't move to a country and suddenly move very far to the right. You bring your politics that you had back home with you. And that's affected the Democratic Party in very fundamental ways. It's also affected the American electorate overall in very fundamental ways. This shows why Donald Trump is so popular on the Republican side of the aisle. By saying we need to throw curbs on immigration, we need to take a break from the explosion that we've seen in recent years, he's saying let's also take a break on moving the country to the left. We've seen what it's done to the Democratic Party. It could do the same to the Republican Party, or it could make the Republicans so small they're insignificant. I'm broadcasting from California. That's what's happened here. That's what could happen nationally. The Democratic Party in California, by the way, wasn't a left-wing party until the 1960s, the 1970s. That's when immigration really started to change the makeup of the Democratic Party here in California, and you saw a very major ideological shift. The same thing is now happening nationally. It took a while for it to happen, but that's in fact what's going on. The overall electorate in California, as many of you know, has also taken a shift to the left. That could happen nationally as well, and that's why Donald Trump is screaming and yelling about immigration, and now Ted Cruz and others are picking up on that as well. That's the position of the polls, but now it's time to make your opinion known. What's causing the Democrats to take a turn to the left? Tell us your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm John Phillips for Pole Position. Thanks so much for watching.